Welcome back, puppies, to Barking Dog's miniature painting video. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can follow us on Facebook, and you can support us on Patreon. Hey, it's Christian with Barking Dog's miniature painting. And over here on my wood palette, I have some heavy skin tone and some heavy brown. So what I'm going to go for is picking out the veins on this miniature, on his wings, so they stand out a little bit more. I looked at a bunch of pictures of bat wings online. I actually have some pulled up over here on a different tab. And you don't really see any like blue or red like you do sometimes through your own skin looking at your own veins. They just appear darker. Same skin tone but darker. And so I used that heavy skin tone as the base with just a little bit of the elfic flesh mixed in to lighten it up a little bit. But for picking out those veins on here, I'm going to try just some straight skin tone to begin with. I might play around and see on my test piece. The only problem is on the test piece it's not going to look the same because the wings are a little redder. So it's going to come out lighter. That might not be such a bad deal. That didn't look too bad. That's kind of the opposite of what we'd be going for. We want it just a little bit darker. I do kind of like the way that that's turning out on here. Is the camera even picking that up? Oh, I was totally off camera doing that. How's that look? If need be, we can always edit it out. What do you think? I like the way that it kind of looks. Let's try it on this one. I think we're getting a good effect here. Okay, I'm really digging the way that that looks. It's not too, I don't say contrasty because I always say contrast in miniature painting, but I say a lot of painters do. But I get it. I really get it. But I don't want them to stick out too much that it detracts from other parts of the model. So if that makes sense, I want to be kind of subtle but not too subtle. There seems to be a lot more veins in the side of it. There's more scarring too, more wrinkles. Okay, for this next bit, I'm going to be using some of the skin tone mixed in with the brown. Kind of mix it in just to get a darker skin tone. This is probably like a good 50-50. I'm just going to come along right here, darken that up a little bit. I'm using a wet enough paint that, yeah, I literally did just wipe it off with my finger. I did mix in about 2/3 airbrush thinner on the palette. I think I neglected to mention that a moment ago. And I did that just to get a nice thin, you could probably use water and get away with it, but I just like using the airbrush thinner. The idea is to give some of that a little contrast so it sticks out a little bit more. Gives it some more definition. We'll do the same thing over here. Let that off there. Again, that's just half heavy skin tone and half heavy brown. I don't know if these bones have a particular name or not, but I'm just coming in and getting those little ridges that help stretch out the wing. I'm not super worried about being just on the ridge. Like if I get a little bit and give it a little bit of shadow, it's not a big deal. I don't want to get too crazy with it, but something that stick out a little bit. Okay, so off camera, I went in and just kind of finished detailing up the wing a little bit. Let me see if I can play around with my lighting and maybe it'll pop a little bit more on camera for you. Let's try zooming in a little bit. That's not bad. So I came in and I just did some more work on the veins. Not a whole lot. I just kind of blended a little bit more, made a little more transition, and then over here on the top or outside of the wings, I finished those a little bit. And I'm thinking about coming in and kind of highlighting some of his scar tissue there. And I also have highlighted up his face a little bit. Not a whole lot. Just a little bit, give it a little more contrast and make those flat surface areas of his face. A little highlighter. A little more highlighted. I think in here I'm actually just mixing in some of the elfic flesh tone with the skin tone that's already there. Come in. Take off some of that excess. Just come in and underscore some of that scarring on here. airbrush there. There we go. I like this scarring over here. And I'm doing that not by hitting the top of the scar, but by kind of hitting the bottom of it. The same thing over here. So what I've decided to do on the stinger is I'm going to leave it painted like that. I'm just going to add a little bit of green right here on the very tip. And for that, I'm going to be going with the Scorpia green from the Game Airline from Vallejo. And that's just one little drop. I'm going to go ahead and add some glazed medium to it. I was going to do airbrush thinner, but it's already an airbrush paint, so if I add airbrush thinner to it, it almost makes it a little too thin for what I want. Again, I'm just wanting a really thin tip here, and I may need to give it more than one coat. Really just want that green pigment deposited at the very tip. Alright, I'm going to let that dry. I might add another coat or two. Alright, for this final installment of the Manticore video, I'm basically just going to be putting the Manticore on the base. So this is the one that's for me here. It's not the one that I'm sending off to a friend. And he's going to be kind of the guinea pig. I'm going to do a practice run on him like I've done with everything else. And we'll see how that translates over to the final one. Well, sometimes I'm going to glue them to these blocks and just pull them out later. It's not going to pull out real easy, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut it off just for the sake of time. I always come back and pull those pins out of that block later. It's not that big of a deal. Now for this paw, I don't really want that in there, so even though it's super glued, I can work it out like that. Oh, fuck me. Alright, we're back for just a little bit of touch-up work here. Alright, so the first place I need to touch up is right around here where I tried picking off some of the paint and peeled up a little bit more than I intended. And this is the model that's going out to a friend. So kind of fortunate there, and they didn't really need much in the way of touching up. But the other one that was kind of my test piece, he's going to need a little bit more touching up. That's alright. That's why he was the test piece. Oh, I forgot to turn off those buggery fans. Let me go ahead and do that while I'm thinking about it. Alright, this should knock out some of the background noise. There's still an air conditioner going on in the background, but I'm not shutting that off. Especially on a really humid day like today. And the fact that we went, let's see, a little over 12 hours without power. Because of some thunderstorms that rolled through last night. And this guy's good to go. Just about. There's one more area I want to touch up. And then we'll get this edited and uploaded for your viewing pleasure. So right now I don't necessarily do a whole lot in the way of tutorials so much as kind of just, I guess I'm just sharing some of my process for painting tabletop miniatures, because everything I paint is actually intended to be thrown on the table and pushed around, you know. It's really meant to have fun with. They're gaming pieces. That's good enough. I don't need to do a whole lot there. Come back and maybe do his claw. I'm going to call him good. And what I won't film is just me hitting it with a satin or a matte. I'm probably going to use a matte clear coat just to help protect everything. So that'll be the only thing you don't get to see. What color do I want to use? That claw. I'm going to use some public flesh. But yeah, most of my videos just, I guess, me kind of sharing my processes And I know as somebody who paints a lot and I spend a lot of time watching YouTube, I like having plenty of videos to watch, so hopefully I'm that for somebody else. Just videos to watch while they're doing some painting of their own, perhaps. Once I get back in the swing of things and I get a better schedule down, I probably will start to try to do more in the way of tutorials, I guess. I might even go over different flocking techniques and some of the materials that I use. So we're going to set him aside, let those touch-ups finish drying. Now on him, where I tried drilling some holes and just ended up not even using them, I'm just going to cover those up with tufts of grass. I think right now we'll try to touch up some of that brown right there though. We'll call that. I'm going to cover up that hole with a little grass tuft. And these are little grass tufts from Miniature. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Don't give me lying to you. Pretty sure is who I got it from. Yep, here's another package of the same stuff, and I really like this. It's a Miniature. Well, as always, this is Christian, Barking Dog Studio. Roar! Looks like he's ready to eat some eat some player characters. Maybe some NPCs too. Who knows? All right.
If you like the work you saw in this video and some of the images you're seeing now, I'm available for commissions. You can reach me through messaging me at Facebook, www.facebook.com/BarkingDogStudio. Patreon supporters get discounts on commissions as well as credit at the end of the video. Special thanks to the Clarks for their continued support. Bark on, puppies.